Hello everybody, I am back home in Chicago and I am in the neighborhood called North Halsted, formerly known as Boystown, the queer neighborhood. I just thought it'd be fun to go down memory lane. We're starting here across from Clark Dog. I used to live on this street. My first apartment was on this street. This is Berry Street. I had a job that was like anyways, I think the people were money laundering and they screwed me over. So I had this apartment for 3 months and I had to move back home with my mom. But anyways, Clark Dog, all Chicago places have Vienna beef. They make good hot dogs, but I was 21 and thought that this was just my nutritional value. This is how sad I am. This used to be a CVS, now is Bond Vet. They sell the same things. I just didn't know how to grocery shop or anything because the Jewel was so far away and I didn't have my car, so I just would go grocery shopping at CVS. So my lunches were like Kraft mac and cheese, 2% milk, frozen pizza. All right, let's go. So this Domino's, my first boyfriend, his name is Jacob. Hi, Jacob. He loved Domino's and I hated Domino's, and there was a lot of fighting based off whether or not we were gonna order from Domino's, and I, to this day, still hate Domino's. And you know what? Like, I think 10 or 15 years ago, they're like, we have a new recipe. We heard what you said, so now we're using real ingredients. Bitch, what were you selling before? That sign, now serving in a queer neighborhood, has a totally different meaning. This is a Michael's, Marshall's, DSW combined. It's like a KFC and Taco Bell. This is not the Michael's I worked at and got fired at. That was out in Mount Prospect, Illinois. So this DSW, one Halloween, my friend John, Jess, and I decided for Halloween, oh, the CTA, I love you. We were gonna go dress up as the First Wives Club, and we're in our all white dresses. We memorized the dance and everything. Well, for some fucking reason, the straight neighborhood on Clark Street, which is like all bros and Cubs fans, is literally 1 block away from the queerest street on the face of the planet, North Halsted. So we had to walk through Clark Street to get here, and every straight person was like, are you guys Hillary Clinton? The second we got on North Halsted, everyone's like, oh, First Wives Club! And we won a costume contest, a Halloween costume contest at a lesbian bar. First place. I had no idea when I was younger that Blue Man Group was like an international thing. I thought it was just a Chicago thing. And I remember one time, it was a school field trip. We went to the Blue Man Group. We sat like in the 3rd row, and then they put plastic over you because you're in the splash zone. And even then I was like, accused, I'm not impressed. But it's still going. In New York, we're like, I have a basil plant on my fire escape that died. So we're currently standing outside the strip club of North Halsted called Lucky Horseshoe. I'm shocked it is still open. And it was interesting because they had hot go-go boys serving you drinks, you know, bringing you in, but also they had popcorn machines. So you walk in and there's just ass, and then it just reeks of like fake popcorn. Very strange combination, but I guess it's a hit, it's still here. This place, back in my day, used to be called Spin. And this is sort of the start of all the gay bars on North Halsted Street. And Spin was never fun. It had a lot of different back rooms and stuff. I remember they did shower contests. Like, I don't even know how they got the budget. Gays can't get anything together, but they had like showers and guys would dance in the showers, and it was fine. I was wearing my Top Shop shirts, so like deep V-neck with like a tight, oh God, the looks. They've changed a lot because this street, when I was 15, I used to take the train into the city, and I would get here at Belmont and Clark, and they had all these thrift shops, and my friend Beth and I would go and get all these like jackets. And one time I got this jacket, it was like a ski jacket. I loved it. My Aunt Cindy hated it, and the first chance she got to throw it out, she did. They replaced it with a Target, but there used to be a Dunkin' Donuts, and that specific Dunkin' Donuts had to do with a lot of very interesting clientele at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I swear to you that if you were gonna work at that Dunkin' Donuts, the first question was, do you have the ability to whittle someone's self-esteem down to nothing with a single look? And if they said yes, they were hired. So I guess the gym is gone. It's called like F Fitness or something. And I used to go out there and I used to work out there all the time. And I would listen to Kathy Griffin records when I was working out. So this was my gym. It is now gone. I think it was a very cruisy gym, but I was so young and naive. I'm like, the steam room's been used for such a long time. Like, I just didn't get it. Behind me is the infamous Steamworks. It's a bathhouse. I only went in once because at the top they had, I think it was the Howard Brown Health. They give like free, it's great. Howard Brown Health is great in Chicago. Free STI testings and treatments, stuff like that. So I was dating this guy, and so we went to go get tested, and he took me through Steamworks. And going through Steamworks for the first time, he had to go up all the stairs, and to me it just sort of looked like if Laser Zone had a gym. That's all I remember. I was in art school, and I remember one of my final paintings I did was that barefoot Contessa painting you guys have seen in my kitchen in my house. It's not my kitchen anymore, but it used to be. Go back to our old videos of carbonara and cacio e pepe and you'll find it. Anyways, one of these used to be an art gallery, and I remember going to the lady inside, and they had all this kind of eclectic art, and it was this woman, she sat behind a desk, and I said, I'm an art student and I want to put my artwork up, and she was like, I don't allow art students to put their paintings up, and this is Hop Art Gallery of North Halsted. I was like, are you Lady Tremaine? Like, what is going on? on. Then I brought her the painting and she loved it. So we put it up for sale for $500, which now is like nothing. But we put it up for sale and it never sold. So her instincts were right, but I got it back. Now we're getting into it. So this club, Scarlet, this came out when I was like 22 or something like that. And I remember it came out, it wasn't a hit, burned to the ground accidentally, and then came back, and then it was like a hit, but it was so small. So I remember once for my birthday, I had my birthday here, and my cousins and I almost got into a fight with somebody else, and the drama. But yes, every time I think of Scarlet, I just think of like oil, fire, and there's no kitchen. This used to be a place called Nookie's. Nookie's was a diner. The food was pretty average, and now it's Savannah Restaurant, which who the fuck knows what that is. There also used to be a diner down Melrose, so it's a couple streets up, and they had the Melrose Diner. I would get so wasted, I'm 21, wasted. Then I would go to I think it was called The Closet, and that was a late bar. It was open till 4 o'clock in the morning. It might still be there. We can walk by. So then I would go there, and then I would be so hungry, I would go to Melrose and ask for a grilled cheese with American and mozzarella with fries, eat by myself. I was in heaven. This bar over here used to be called Town Hall Pub. I'm pretty sure that was the name of it. And it was the only like, I don't know, hipster bar that was in Boystown. And every Sunday night, this is when I first started doing comedy. I have the best memories of this place. The Putterbaugh sisters and Beth Stelling, they're all in LA, fantastic comedians. They ran this show and it was every Sunday night. The show would go for 4 hours, 5 hours max. It was called Entertaining Julia. Julia was the bartender. So they would have the most obscure acts, comedians. One time we were all dancing on the table. Everybody would get wasted. The tamales guy would walk in like tamales, tamales, and we're buying tamales. Some of the best memories I've ever had in my entire life happened in this place. It's where I learned how to do comedy. It's where I got my confidence. Putterbaugh sisters and Beth Stelling, you gave me life. Thank you. This is Sidetrack. This is the largest gay bar in Chicago. It's huge. It has like 800 rooms when everything has like a screen TV. So I would come here all the time. Now, the thing about Sidetrack is everybody would always end up at Sidetrack. No matter where you were trying to go, somehow we were always back at Sidetrack. And it's not a dancing bar, which that's what I liked about it, is that people just kind of stood around and chatted with each other. But we would come here on Sundays because Sundays was musical night and they would play the same musical numbers in a row, and they had like the TVs on. And at Evita, when she would sing, "Don't cry for me, Argentina," everyone grabs a napkin. They literally pass out napkins. They grab the napkin, everyone's waving it, and the second she finishes, we all throw it up in the air. Oh, good memories. Great times. We somehow passed it. I think it used to be a bar right over here, used to be called Mini Bar. Gone now. I remember Mini Bar was like the hot shit bar, and I remember the guy who owned it was like in his early hundreds and creeped everybody out. And my brother used to work there, because my brother's also gay. And my brother would serve like drinks shirtless, and then we would sneak us in. So like me and my cousins would come in and then drink. Ugh, good times. I don't even know where to begin. This is Roscoe's. The floor's probably still sticky. I should go look in the window to see what it looks like now. But this was another place that I would come to all the time. And Roscoe's had a dance floor, right? And I just was so ignorant. Like, I guess everybody was doing drugs and I just didn't know. I was drinking like a vodka soda, like, who am I gonna make out with tonight? Everyone was just rolling. And I was like, I just never understood, like, how are they having so much fun? Like, oh, they're on drugs. I'm so naive. I really am naive. It used to be called Cocktail. Oh, they have the same bar still. Progress Bar, that's what it's called now. But this is where I met my first boyfriend. He was hanging out with my friend Jesse. Okay, this is the 7-Eleven. This 7-Eleven would make Statesville Prison blush. I mean, the amount of shit that went down in this 7-Eleven. Drugs, sex, party, twerking, food, robbery. I mean, it just is like, it was complete and utter chaos. That's every time I see a 7-Eleven now, I just associate it with this 7-Eleven. I mean, just Pepsi, but it really was so fun. Even though you were always sort of in danger, you were like, who wants a protein bar? They used to have a pizza place here called Pie Hole. And I was like, you know, gays, we're real subtle. So this is the Chicago Diner. It's a vegan place, and it actually has really good food. The problem is, when I was here, it's just the food on this street. They used to have a place called Halstead's. The staff, it was the equivalent of them picking up the tray and throwing the food at you. Just everyone was so mean and nasty, and the food was nasty as well. So it was hard to find good food. I haven't been here in forever. I just remember the food being good. I have to rest because this one's gonna be a long one. This is Hydrate. This is the first gay club that I ever went to. It's changed a lot. I was 19 years old when I snuck in. The only reason I went is because my friend Sophia, I know you're watching this. Sophia decided that she was gonna do a 1-week birthday celebration. And when I said, well, I'm not 21 yet, she said, find an ID. So I had to use my friend Dave's ID to get in. And I mean, that got me into a lot of places. I got into this place and I remember I walked in, and when you go into a gay club for the first time and you're not exposed to anything gay, I'd never seen a drag queen before. I'd never seen other gay people in real life before. We didn't have YouTube tutorials tutorials of, you know, 7-year-olds telling us how to do makeup. It was kind of, you just figure it out yourself. You walk in and you're like inundated with everything. I remember the sign above the urinal said no meth. And if I could get that sign framed, I would. That would be amazing. I came out to my brother there because I ran into him. Of course he wasn't shocked, and the first thing he said, he goes, our cousin's name is Brian. He goes, well, when do you think Brian's gonna come out? And then I sat there and talked to him while the drag queen was walking around, and that was my first experience here. And later, before I did stand-up, I was a part of this singing group. They did kids theater. Then on the weekends, they had like a small group of the adults and we would perform. Some were not adults, some were only 18, and wow. We would do burlesque and singing. And I remember they were just looking for singers and we would go in between strippers. So we would go to each different strip or go-go boy place in Chicagoland area. One of them we performed here. Our audience had 3 people and I was singing Mariah Carey's Mine Again from Emancipation of Mimi. And the only person who gave a shit was the bartender who sang with me. Good times. I mean, I remember we would be like in basements and there's one drag queen powdering herself in the corner and a stripper trying to jack off to get harder, and then I would go up wasted because my friend Jill and I would just get wasted. She was doing a whole thing from Hairspray, and so she had like the big Hairspray wig, and she's only like 5 feet tall. At one point she got so wasted because we kept stealing liquor from the basement. She got so wasted that she was just laying at the bar with this giant wig, feet not touching the ground. And our friend Angela had to take the hair and put it on her head and go sing for her. Good times. So a year ago I performed at Market Days with my friend Henry Kapersky, who's an incredible pianist. And I remember it's like an outdoor festival. Sometimes you get gigs when you're a comedian and you're like, just fucking shoot me. So they were like, well, it's gonna be an outdoor festival, middle of the day. It's gonna be sweating hot. There's gonna be no dressing room and you have to perform. I was gonna sing songs and do stand-up at the same time, which is this thing I used to do in like small jazz clubs in New York. And monkeypox is going around. So I was like, this is gonna be like a complete shit show. I get on that stage, 4,000 gays showed up, and it was the best day of my life. I was so overwhelmed that people were so supportive because it's just, I wasn't able to sell tickets for so many years. I've been doing this for almost 14 years. So to have that many people come out, like changed my life. It gave me so much life. The audience was fantastic. Someone did poppers in the middle of an Elton John song I was singing. Like, it was incredible. The amount of times I've pissed in this parking lot and I just sat there. Now, the real tragedy. This right here, this bullshit building that they put up here, this used to be the best gay club in Boystown called Taco Burrito Palace. It was a shitty ass late night Mexican place where everybody would flock to after Berlin closed, and we would come over and me and my friends would order the most fattest, like greasiest burritos and refried beans. Fantastic. The food was fantastic. Staff was fantastic. It is a tragedy that that place shut down. That is like to me, when I came here and I performed and I saw that they knocked it down, it was as if someone died. This is Jewel Osco. Just wanted to say, it's nice to see you, Jewel. Gonna go to the Jewel, get some pop, very Chicagoan. I mean, is it the Crab King in this neighborhood? It should be the Crab Queen. But thanks so much. I'll be here all week. Well, that was fun. It was nice to go down memory lane. And you know, I look back and I have fond memories of this neighborhood and growing up and being gay. So yeah, no meth.